everybody, it's Scott with Harper Health AZ. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a vegan lasagna. So let's jump right into it. First we're going to want to set our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll get it warmed up while we start prepping the rest of our food. First thing we're going to do is cut up our veggies that we'll be making a sauce out of. So that's going to be 4 tomatoes and 2 peppers. We are doing 1 orange pepper and 1 green pepper. Now that we got our 4 tomatoes, our orange pepper, and our green pepper all cut up here, we are gonna throw it on a pan with some foil on it. And now we are gonna cook these veggies for 30 minutes now while we prep our zucchini and squash for the rest of the lasagna to get those ones cooking right after. Now I'll cut up the zucchini and squash. You can also add eggplant in here if you want. Eggplant is a great addition to it. Since I only have zucchini and squash, this is what I'm going to be using. But of course, if you have squash and have eggplant, you can do that. Or zucchini and eggplant, you can do it. Or if you have all 3, you can cook it all that way too. And of course, cutting the zucchini or squash this way, you want to be careful of your fingers. If you want to, you can also just cut it right down so they're little ones. Easier to eat that way. I just like doing this because it has a nice presentation for it. Now that we got these all cut up, we are gonna add them to another pan with foil on it. Now that we have our zucchini and squash all laid out here, or eggplant if you did that one, we're gonna add some salt to it. And this one I'm actually using no salt, sodium-free salt for it. Of course, use what you want. You can also just do garlic powder on there. And this helps just to dry them out and give them some flavor. For our timer on the other ones to run out with about 15 minutes left, then we will throw these guys in there just to give these ones enough time to dry out for the most part. And now that we have 15 minutes left on the timer for our first veggies for the sauce, those tomatoes and pepper, we are gonna throw in the zucchini and squash in there to cook with our sauce ingredients. All right, and while we have our veggies finishing getting cooked, I'm gonna go ahead and make our tofu cheese. So first thing we're gonna need, you can use extra firm or firm tofu for this. Now normally I press the tofu and dry it out some, but with the tofu cheese, it does need some of that moisture to be able to mix with the rest of the ingredients. So I am just gonna cut this guy up to fit in our cup to blend it up. And I'm doing these guys long ways since I'm just using my Ninja to chop it up, so this way it will grab these and be able to pull them all down. And next we're gonna add a 1/3 cup of nutritional yeast to it. And I'm using nutritional yeast because it gives it that cheesy flavor. And then we'll be adding a tablespoon of seasonings. Now these seasonings can be however you want to do it. If you're looking to make this the Italian style lasagna, you can do that. If you're looking to make it some different flavor, you can always do that. I'm just gonna add some herbs to it, a mixture of them, give it a nice good flavor there. And the herbs I'm using is a mix of thyme, rosemary, basil, parsley, oregano, tarragon, marjoram, and lavender flowers. So a nice good variety there to definitely give it a really good flavor. And then next I'm gonna add 1/2 tablespoon of garlic powder. And of course, if you need to, you can add some salt to it to salt to taste for you. I'm actually not gonna add any right now until I get it blended up to see how it tastes at that point. And then lastly you'll wanna do is add either a whole lemon that is juiced or just lemon juice here. Add that lemon juice in. Now that we got all of our ingredients for the tofu cheese in here, we're gonna blend this guy right up. And if you find it's having trouble blending, just add some water to it to make it mix and blend up well. Don't add too much because we do want the tofu cheese to be nice and thick when we're laying it out on our lasagna. And then shake it up if you need to and blend it a little bit more. Of course, in a normal blender, this may be a little bit easier, especially if you have a tamper. All right, and we got a nice and thick tofu cheese to add onto our lasagna now. And then you will want to taste it to make sure it is the right flavoring for you if you need to add some salt or some other seasonings to really bring out the flavor you're looking for on it. Now that we have our tofu cheese done, we will just set that to the side until we get our sauce made. So we got everything cooked here, tomatoes, peppers. We're gonna take these off, throw them in our cup. I'd say give them 5 minutes to cool down before you add them in and blend them up. All right, now that we got these guys all cooked and cooled down a little bit, we are gonna add them to our cup now. And this is where the foil is very useful. You can just move it around a bunch and get everything to normally come right up so you can easily put it right into here. And as you can see, only a couple got left stuck on here. You can just go from side to side, front to back, a little bit underneath it just to get everything nice and loose, and it falls right into your blender. Now that we got our tomatoes and peppers in there, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder or garlic salt to it. I'm gonna be using garlic powder today. If I need to, I'll add some of the no salt to it just to flavor it up a little bit. And then also we will do 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And this is our sauce mixture here, so very simple with the tomatoes, peppers, garlic powder, apple cider vinegar. Now that we got all our ingredients together, let's go ahead and blend this guy up. Super quick and easy to get our sauce all mixed together there. Looks really good. And so next thing we will do, we will grab a pan so we can get our lasagna all put together. And now as far as the size of the pan, it's gonna be really dependent on how big your zucchini, squash, or eggplant is to be able to lay these guys out in here. We have our zucchini and squash, and the first thing we are gonna do is add some of our sauce to the bottom here, just to keep everything from sticking to it. Now this is just very easy to move around and cover the bottom of it. And now let's go ahead and start adding our zucchini and squash or eggplant. You can do it whatever way you want. We're just gonna be laying them out here. Then I like to do one on top of the other and then alternating for the squash the way it is to get that laid out nice there. Now, if you want to, you can always cut these up into half or third just to make it easier for you if you want. Or of course, you can just do it cut in the short way so you have little pieces to go across here. More of a ratatouille with that one. Now that we got this layer laid out, let's add vegan cheese over it. And then you just want to spread that guy out. Now that we have all of our tofu cheese on here, we're gonna put the rest of our zucchini and squash across the top of it. And for the top of this, I like to alternate the rest of the zucchini and squash that we have. Now that we got the rest of the zucchini and squash on top, we are gonna use the rest of our sauce and pour that across the top of it. And this is getting everything in the pan. So let's just go ahead, throw it back in the oven for another 20 minutes to get everything cooked together, the tofu cheese warmed up, and it's just gonna be such a great meal for us. All right, we got our lasagna all baked now. Doesn't that just look amazing? Let's go ahead, dig in, get some bites out of this guy. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. I can't wait to keep making stuff like this for you guys. Have a great rest of your week.